Hello, I'm Jim Morningstar, your guide through this 9-class journey of returning to Source. The topic in this, the 6th of our series, is ancestral wounding, recovering personal and planetary wholeness. After reviewing the major paradigm shift on our planet, of which we're in the middle, we will set priorities and goals for our personal and group leadership in this consciousness evolution. Spontaneous evolution, a whole new story. One of our class texts, Spontaneous Evolution, gives us a clear and inspirational vision of how to take leadership in the planetary paradigm shift in which we are immersed. What if we changed our beliefs? After all, as we've seen, we're living in a world of make-believe. That is, we make what we believe. To make something different, we must believe something different. Consider the alternative reality that might arise by releasing the collective agreed-upon conventional beliefs and the story they have created, that only matter matters, that the law of the jungle rules, that we are frail and powerless slaves to our genes, and that we're here because of a random throw of the evolutionary dice. Not only must we dismantle this obsolete story and replace it with a more viable one, we must also heal the wounds the old story has inflicted over the ages. Reprogramming and healing must occur on both an individual level and a collective level. In a fractal, as above, so below reality, there cannot be an evolved organism, world, without first having evolved cells, individuals. The scientific principles that necessitate behavioral changes are derived from many disciplines. The new science of holism emphasizes that we must acquire an understanding of nature and the human experience. Civilization's current awareness, and consequently its behavior, are shaped by truths postulated under the roof of scientific materialism. The insufficiencies of these truths are contributing to, and in many cases, are solely responsible for the crises that have currently threatened human survival. In the waning days of our old civilization, the emergence of revolutionary science is leading us to a more evolved science, holism, a structure built on a much firmer foundation. Yet, thanks to thousands of years of dominator programming and lots of historical evidence with visceral reminders, we can still viscerally believe it's us versus them. And when push comes to shove, we still often resort to pushing and shoving. While paying lip service to the love-based golden rule with our conscious mind, the rule of gold rules in the profoundly more dominant subconscious, particularly when it's fueled by fear and backed by coercion. How do we address this seemingly overwhelming programming? By making the unconscious conscious. When we recognize we can be programmed by fear, we're less susceptible to manipulations by those who benefit from mass conflict. Nazi leader Hermann Goering acknowledged this quite plainly at the Nuremberg trials when he testified. Naturally, the common people don't want war, but after all, it's the leaders of the country who determine the policy, and it's always a simple matter to drag people along, whether it's a democracy or a fascist dictatorship or a parliament or a communist dictatorship. All you have to do is tell people they are being attacked and denounce the peacemakers for lack of patriotism and exposing the country to danger. Works the same in any country. Now, those seeking conscious control over their lives are finding support for their efforts from both ancient and modern resources. We suggest that the pathway for change involves at least 3 fundamental elements: intention, choice, and practice. Intention. Intention serves as a great declaration of purpose and direction. As the old saying goes, if you don't know where you're going, you're likely to end up there. In the case of our personal evolution, a suitable intention would be to weave our talents, loves, and mission to support the newly emerging butterfly organism out of the cocoon of the former caterpillar society. Ancient and modern spiritual teachers collectively recognize that setting an intention draws new experiences to us like a magnet. If necessity is the mother of invention, intention is most likely the father. Choice. Setting intentions may set things in motion on the subconscious plane, but for true change, intentions must also be reflected in our daily conscious choices. By accepting the implication within spontaneous evolution that we are all cellular souls in an evolving superorganism called humanity, we need to ask, what daily choices can I personally make to reinforce this emergent worldview? For some, the answer may mean changing careers. For others, it might mean growing a garden or performing a kind act each day. Each individual's choice will be unique and represent the highest form of self-expression in these transformational times. Practice. Suggested earlier, heaven isn't a destination, it's a practice. To facilitate our maturation from children of God to adults of God, we can engage in practices and exercises that create congruency between our inner selves and our outer expression. We can support our evolution by selecting a practice or process that harmonizes the outer world with our well-being. Indications suggest we have underestimated the extent of the current state of awakening. In Our Words 2000, a comprehensive research project published by the Fund for Global Awakening in 2007, reported that 85% of Americans believe, quotes, "Underneath it all, we are connected as one." A whooping 93% agree that, quotes, "It's important to teach our children to feel connected to the earth, people, and all life." If this evolutionary step towards planetary coherence seems huge, perhaps we need an even bigger perspective. The evolution of humanity is not an ending, it's a beginning. This stage of humanity's development completes the evolution of our planet. Through the evolution of humanity, we will come to see the Earth not as a physical planet, but as a living cell. What happens when a cell fulfills its evolution? It assembles into colonies with other involved cells to share awarenesses. Upon completing its evolution, Earth will connect with other aware Earth-like planets to continue the process of expanding awareness about who we are, what we are, and the nature of the universe in which we live. Meanwhile, back in the here and now, we are the leaders that we've been waiting for. At this evolutionary crossroads, the emphasis is not on individuals who lead from the top. The emphasis is on the awakening of all cellular souls who create a coherent, loving field, so empowered leaders can be attuned to the healthy central voice of the superorganism that is humanity. Consequently, the real challenge for the individual is to practice evolution, to learn the lessons of the old stories so we no longer need to repeat them, and to remind ourselves that the critical mass of humanity involved in this evolution will change the world from the inside out. We are living in a positive future, practicing heaven, and designing a bridge across which the whole of humanity will walk. This is our love story, or universal love story for the entire universe. You, me, everyone, and every living organism too. Oh, thank you, Bruce Lipton and Steve Behrman, authors of Spontaneous Evolution, for that wise planetary perspective. Now let's take handout 2, Recovering Personal and Planetary Wholeness, section 1A, and complete. Leadership I am willing to take in recovering and reinforcing my personal wholeness is. Then in section 1B, complete, steps I am willing to take in recovering and reinforcing my personal leadership are. Write at least 2 steps and add a date by which you are willing to take each step after naming it. Next, in section 2A, complete, leadership I'm willing to take in recovering and reinforcing planetary wholeness is. And in section 2B, complete, steps I'm willing to take in recovering and reinforcing my planetary leadership are. Again, write at least 2 steps and add a date by which you're willing to take each step after naming it. Then, in section 3A, complete, a vision of wholeness in myself 5 years from now that I'm willing to feel today is. And in section 3B, complete, a vision of wholeness in my planet 5 years from now that I'm willing to feel today is. Here's where it's important not to make any campaign promises you cannot keep. Be loving and honest with yourself and the group as you write your goals and vision. Now notice it says vision I'm willing to feel today. Putting it in your feeling body today is a vitally important step in its manifestation. Turn the video off and come back after you've completed handout 2. When you are ready, if you can, share handout 2 with an accepting, compassionate person. It could be a major victory in releasing all past ancestral wounding and recovering your full capacity to learn and grow from our wholeness. Holding you in my heart as fellow travelers on the road home, I send and receive blessings for our circle and all sentient beings till next class. Blessings in light and love.